Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Season of Us podcast. This is episode 23, and today's topic is going to be a good one. It's been one that I have not really talked on too much in this entire podcast, which is kind of crazy because this is, if anything, one of the main things I can actually give my advice on. But y'all already know the drill. Grab your coffee, your tea, your water, your tequila, whatever your drink of choice is, and let's just get started. Okay, so I have recorded this video probably 3 times this week, and the reason that I haven't posted it is because each day I'm like, ooh, like I kind of want to involve this, or I want to include this, or I didn't even dive deep into this certain perspective of the topic, but kind of like a background of this message is I posted a video yesterday on my TikTok about someone who is very, very special to me, and it went viral. It blew up, and I'm so blessed that it did because obviously I love the video, I love the intent behind it, but all the comments were flooding and still are right now, and the amount of ideas that I got to talk about in this episode from these comments is insane. So some of the comments were, the video was about someone very special to me, a very romantic, deep kind of post, and it was a very vulnerable post. So if you guys want to check it out, I will link the video in my comment section. But basically I got a lot of comments like, oh my god, you're so lucky, or oh my god, I wish that I had somebody like that, or man, everyone's getting mistreated, like I'm always so good to people but they're never good back, all the things, right? And I genuinely didn't expect that much feedback, but if anything I was just excited because I was like, you know what, this is what I'm going to go off of in this topic, because I genuinely do not believe that I was lucky for any of this. To find this person, to be in this situation, to be in this season, I don't think it was luck. And I think that, I don't know why, but I've strayed from the conversation of a season of singleness for so long, just because I feel like I incorporate it in all my videos. You know, I always mention that I've been single for 3 years up until this point, that I have taken the time to love myself, and I always put that out there, but I've never had a video strictly emphasizing the season of singleness and how important that is for you, for your future relationships. And just watching these comments, I had so much empathy for these people, because I was thinking to myself, man, so many people are in broken relationships because they never took the time to actually love themselves and heal themselves from past traumas, past relationships, childhood, whatever it is. And that is why so many relationships don't end up working, or so many relationships are in that stuck situation where they've been together for so long because they're comfortable, but they don't move on to marriage or move on to something greater, because it's like they don't even know if this person is the person they're supposed to be with. If this person is treating them the right way, or if they even love them the way that they think they should, if that makes sense. But all I want to say is that being single, and I'm not talking about being single in the way of sleeping with 1 million people, upping your body count, you know, meeting people just on the superficial level just to entertain yourself. I'm not talking about that season of singleness. Now, do a lot of people go through that? Yes. And is it a learning process? Yes. So everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's life is different. So no judgment from here, because I've been there, done that, believe me. But what I'm talking about is the season of singleness where you are all in your thoughts. You are all in and investing into yourself. Where on the days where you would rather go out and drink and party and go crazy to distract yourself from your actual emotions, you stay home instead and you actually cry it out. And you ask yourself, why am I sad? Why am I not getting into a relationship that is good for me? Why am I only attracting unhealthy individuals? And to do that is such a vulnerable thing, and so many people in this world do not take the time to have that space for themselves because they genuinely believe that they will be happy if they have somebody else involved in the equation. But I would tell you right now, if two unhealed individuals get together into a relationship, yes, it'll be good for a little while. But after some time passes, you'll realize that you depended so much on this person to fix you or to make you happy that you didn't realize that that is all internal work that you should have done before the relationship. And I think that in a world where people idolize romance, put relationships on a pedestal, Instagram, social media, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all the things, you see that perfect relationship, you see that perfect couple, you see that perfect lust, like all the things that should be romanticized, and you have this vivid picture of what love should look like, right? But what people don't show in these movies, or what they don't teach you in school, or what they don't teach you growing up, is that to have that deep and authentic and real raw love, it starts with you. You have to start and love yourself and be in love with yourself and enjoy your time alone. Enjoy being someone who's discovering themselves. I loved being single because I loved to know or to discover what my weaknesses were, what things that I need to work on, my flaws. Because so many people don't like to confront themselves with that because nobody wants to hear what they don't do right, what they're not good at, what they need to work on. And especially if it's you telling yourself to shape up, it is a whole other ball game, or however you say it. But also you learn your strengths in the whole process as well. You're learning what you have to bring to the table. You're learning what makes you happy. You're learning how to cope with certain situations in life, how to be an adult, how to grow from one age to another. Like, so many things that you have to learn, and it's so much easier to learn them when you don't have the opinions of your partner, of your friendships, of your family, whatever it is, because you decided to put yourself in a season of singleness. And I understand everybody, goes through life so differently than the next person. I get that. Believe me, I've had my fair share of daisy life problems. But if you go through life avoiding the fact that you need to learn how to love yourself, avoiding the fact that you need to learn who you are, why in the world do you think you feel so lost in life? You feel so stuck. And you feel like you will never be satisfied unless you have somebody there rooting you on at all times. Somebody there giving you that validation that you want all the time. Somebody always there to comfort you at the end of the day. Because don't get me wrong, as humans, we get lonely. It's inevitable to be single for so long and not get lonely. But that doesn't mean that you're alone. But a lot of people think that if they don't have somebody to come home to, if they don't have somebody to cuddle, if they don't have somebody to watch movies with, if they don't have somebody to do just the little tiny tasks of every single day, then you aren't doing life right, because everyone says that at this point you should be married. At this time in your life, you should have at least 3 kids. There's that societal standard of what your life should look like. And unfortunately, somebody who's single is seen as sad, or is seen as they're not where they should be. And it's because people don't understand that unless you take that time to work on yourself, you will never find someone to love you the way that you want to be loved, because you don't even know how to do that. You don't even know what you need to do to feel loved. Is your love language words of affirmation? Is it quality time? Is it physical touch? Is it gift giving? What is it? Do you even know how you like to be loved? Do you even know how you give love? And a mistake that I made in my last relationship was that I refused to learn how to love myself, that I gave all of my love to this person. Every ounce of me, I gave it to them. They were my entire world. Like, to think of a world without them was beyond me. Because I invested so much of me into this person, because I didn't know how to love myself. So I thought, whatever love that I have, I'm going to give it to them. But where I went wrong was that I expected that same exact love from them back to me. But when an unhealed version dates somebody who is also not really sure how to love themselves, how in the world do you expect them to love you 100% if you can't even love yourself? And as I'm watching or reading these comments, and commenting back, making everyone, feel heard, I'm realizing that people truly don't understand that the reason that people hurt you in relationships isn't because of you. It's because they don't know who they are. They don't know how to love. Therefore, they don't see the worth in loving you. They don't care. And it's not because of you. It could be any person in this world that they're dating. But if they don't know who they are and they genuinely are so closed off to the idea of love, they're not going to love you the way that you want them to. And if you haven't taken the time to know, like, okay, you know what? This is Daisy's boundaries. This is what I'm seeking for in a person. This is what I want someone to love me like. If you haven't taken the time to do that, how are you walking into relationships blindly, not even knowing what love you need? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying go out and pull out a full 100 list of things of what a man or a woman should be like. Otherwise, if they don't check off the list, they're not the one. Because that's also a problem in this world, is that now people are so picky because the standards are so high, because romance movies and social media is showing you that love should look this specific way. There's so many people will not commit to anybody because they're convinced there's someone better. There will always be someone better, right? There will always be someone hotter, someone more beautiful, someone more funny, someone more athletic, someone more whatever, you name it. There will always be someone more. But the real question is the person that you're with someone that you are willing to build with? Someone that you are willing to grow with? Someone that, despite the trials that you know are coming, because no relationship is perfect, are you willing to grow with them? And if you are not, what the heck are you doing in that relationship? I am so tired of situationships. The amount of people that are in this generation that are so willing to give themselves to people, whether it's sexually, intimacy, emotionally, mentally, and they're so willing to give their all to somebody, but they will not commit because God forbid they don't have the chance to find somebody else just in case this doesn't work. You ever realize the reason you're so insecure about the situationship or the relationship is because you never took the time to yourself to actually understand what the heck do you want in life? And this doesn't even necessarily have to be about romantic relationships. It could be about friendships. It could be about family members that you are close with, but you know that you shouldn't be. Or it could even be the relationship that you have with yourself. Like, let me ask you, when you look into the mirror, do you actually think, wow, I love me? And to whoever gets to love me one day, they are so blessed. Not lucky, because I don't believe in the word luck. But they're so blessed to know me because I am such an amazing person. Like, can you actually tell yourself that? And I think that people are so quick to get into relationships and to feel, that spark or that honeymoon phase because it's exciting. It's this new feeling. It's so incredible. But eventually you're going to pass that stage, right? And what happens when you're dating someone for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you start to realize, whoa, the only reason I'm with you is because I don't know who I am without you. The only reason I'm with you is because you made me believe that if I leave, no one's ever going to love me with my trauma, with my past, with my heartache, with my insecurities. But if you take the time to understand that you are so uniquely beautiful and you are so amazing and you are so loved by yourself, really pay attention to how many people you let into your life after that. Because I'll tell you firsthand, the second that I started to understand my boundaries, that I started to understand my worth, when people came at me with, I'm just not ready for a relationship, but I do enjoy hanging out with you, so let's just keep this going. I don't really want to commit to you, but I do like what you have to provide. I do like the way that you entertain me, so I'm going to keep you around. At first, I was like, okay, this is fun. This is what single life is about, but no. I got to a point where I was like, you don't deserve to be in my life. You don't deserve to get girlfriend version of Daisy on a friend zone level. Not at all. People will try to convince you that, you know, it's you know, being in a relationship is not worth it, or, you know, you shouldn't like jump into something so fast, like you're single, have fun, go crazy, do all the things. But humans crave relationships, romantic or not. And everybody that tells you, you know, the single life is amazing, but not because, you know, you're taking the time for yourself, but because you're going out and having fun and giving yourself to so many people, it's not the truth. I'll tell you firsthand, it is not the truth. It's just a huge, big old distraction. But then some people try to convince you that there's wisdom in that, and there's not. There's not. The strongest thing that somebody can do is be in tune with themselves and feel every single emotion, feel that heartbreak, understand why you're hurt, understand why your walls are so built up, understand why nobody can open you up. That is so strong. Nowadays, crying or, you know, being sensitive is seen as weakness, but I think it's the strongest thing that you can do. If I see a man cry, or if I see a woman cry because they are digging deep into their feelings and understanding why they're hurt and understanding why someone broke them so much to the point where they don't even want to love anymore, that is strong. That is attractive to me. And I didn't know any of that until I took that season of singleness and I took that time to understand myself. Because now no longer is it 50-50 in a relationship. I'm going to give my 100% to you if you know how to love yourself, and you're going to give your 100% to me. Because I don't need you to be happy, but I want you because I love the company that you provide. I love what you give into this relationship, and I give the same effort back. But if ever I'm with somebody that I know is not giving me 100%, I don't want it. Because in the season of myself, I understood what I deserve. And I understood what it takes to love me. And what it takes for me to be happy. And what it takes for me to feel appreciated. And if I already do that for myself, if I already love myself enough and I already know, you know, what I deserve and how much respect I give myself, why in the world am I going to let some random person come into my life and make me feel less than? Why? It makes absolutely no sense. But show me how many people in this world right now are actually willing to take the time to really learn themselves. And right now, I am in something amazing. And if you want to see, you know, the TikTok, go on social media, go and check it out. But those comments are something else. A lot of people said that I was lucky. And I kind of laughed at it because I was like, I'm not lucky. I'm not. As much as, you know, that sounds so nice, it's not. It was a lot of patience. It was a lot of behind the scenes grinding and learning how to love myself and breaking generational trauma and breaking generational heartbreak and understanding how much I deserve to be loved. And that is why I am with the person that I am with right now, because I chose me. And I didn't let people along the way who didn't respect me enough stay for too long. Did I make mistakes? Yes. Did I give love to people that didn't deserve it? Yes, of course. There's trial and error all the time. That's the beauty of dating, is that it's never perfect. But did I settle for that? No. Did I know that I deserved better? Yes. I am somebody who loves with all of my heart. I will show you unconditional love no matter who you are, because I genuinely think, despite how much I've been hurt, nobody deserves to be hurt that way. So I will love with all that I am. But the second that I understand that you will not reciprocate that, I'm leaving. Because I respect myself enough to know that I deserve unconditional love, whether it's just from me or if it's from somebody that I allow into my life. But for so long, I had this pressure of oh, I can't let these people go because then they'll be sad, and then I have to, take care of them and redeem myself with them, and I have to give them that validation that they're still amazing and incredible individuals. But what about me? When is it my turn? When am I going to get somebody who loves me so much and I love them so much in return? And I can guarantee it 100,000% that if I would have taken the time to myself to understand my worth and my value and the amazing, incredible person that I am today, I would not have been able to find someone who respects me, who loves me. How, quite frankly, I've never been loved before, ever. And I will be honest, like, being single and being in situations that I knew weren't meant for me did harden me a little bit. You know, I was so anxious towards love, and still am a little bit, because I was so used to myself, and I let people in that hurt me. I let people in that didn't deserve me, and that tried to convince me that I was looking for something in the wrong way. That I ended up hurting my own heart. And something that I felt like was the best advice that I've ever given myself was that the more that I grew wiser and the more that I understood what was going on in between relationships and being single and finding yourself and finding other people, when people come to you and they try to tell you, you know, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not ready to commit to you. I'm not ready to take this to the next step, but, you know, I like where we're at now. I would put with you at the end of that. Because, I mean, it hurt like none other, but when people would say, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, I would say in my head, they're not ready for a relationship with me. I'm not worth them committing. I'm not worth them taking the next step. And when I started to realize that, I started to, you know what? This isn't my person. I love enjoying time with them, but they're not for me. And that's okay. Because one thing, there are millions of people in the world. I think right now there's 8 million now. Or something like that. I don't know. There are millions of people that you will connect with. Millions of people that you will experience. Millions of situations and romances and relationships and situationships that you will experience. It's inevitable. But what are you learning from it? And how are you growing to be better? A lot of the comments on this TikTok were like, oh man, like, I can't wait to find my person like this. Or I can't wait to experience this. Or I don't understand why somebody before my person treated them so badly. And it all comes down to self-love. Whether you believe it or not, it truly does. I used to be like, man, like, why are people so rude? Or why did someone treat me this way? Or why this or why that? And I came to the realization that it's not how they feel towards you, but it's their internal self projecting. Because I know there's people watching this video, you know, being like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I've been with somebody that didn't love me the way that I love them. And it wasn't because you weren't worth it. It was because they didn't take the time to love themselves, so how the heck were they supposed to love you? They didn't take the time to really value themselves and be so deeply in love with themselves. How the heck are they supposed to know how to love anybody else? But the mistake that people make is that instead of taking the time to learn how to love yourself and taking the time to really fall in love with your soul, they just move on to the next relationship. They move on to the next person, but they don't realize that they're hurting the next individual just as much, if not more, because they didn't learn what they did wrong in the last relationship. They didn't learn why they were so insecure. They didn't learn why they were so jealous. They didn't learn why they couldn't trust their partner. And because they don't understand the way that love works, they're like, you know what, maybe I'll find something better in this next person. But it's not what you're looking for. It's not the person that you're with. It's who you are. If you don't love yourself enough, you will never find a relationship that is meant for you. Because they will never know how to love you because you don't even know how to do it yourself. And that's why I emphasize the season of singleness, because it is so important. It is so crucial for you to have a season of your life where it's just you. Where you're going through the trenches, where you're going ham behind the scenes, where you're crying it out, where you're facing that trauma, where you're facing that hurt, where you're growing and you're forcing yourself to get out of that societal standard of what things are supposed to look like. I don't care if you're 20 years old. I don't care if you're 25. I don't care if you're 30. I don't care if you're 40. I don't care if you're freaking 60 years old and you're still single. That just proves to show that you have not learned how to love yourself, and it's still not too late. Love is endless. Love is all around this world. But you will not be able to physically see it or to feel it or to accept it if you can't even accept it from your internal self. And that's a hard lesson to learn, believe me. But have you ever sat there and you thought to yourself, man, like, I love this person, but something just doesn't make sense. Or I love this person, but I'm not growing. I feel stuck. Or I love this person, but they don't treat me the way that I'm supposed to be treated. But they say they love me, so like, yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'll tell you what, the most powerful thing, or the most powerful you'll ever be, is when you respect yourself enough to the point where you do not need the validation of anybody around you. And that's when you'll start to attract people that love you for you. Love every single thing to you, even your flaws. And when they don't, because you took that time to value yourself enough, you will automatically, gut intuition, you'll be like, this person's gotta go. You meet them the first time, okay, it was nice meeting you, but please make your way out. And yes, maybe that sounds disrespectful. Maybe that's rude. I don't know. I don't care. Because I will do whatever to protect my peace, to protect my love for myself, and to protect my boundaries. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that truly cares for your well-being. So why are you wasting time on individuals who don't even know your worth? And I know timing is everything, and people are so obsessed with the timeline of life. But what's more worth it? You being in a relationship right now because that's what everyone says you should be doing? Or you waiting a couple of years to find somebody who actually is so in awe of you? And you're so in awe of them because you see the beauty in everything that they do, and you see the beauty in their flaws as well. Because nobody's perfect. You will never ever get into a relationship and think that this person is the most perfect person in the whole world. I mean, maybe for you, yes. You might think they're incredible, and that's amazing. But everybody has their flaws. But it's that situation of, are you willing to grow with this person? Are you willing to love their flaws? Are you willing to love them despite everything and grow with them, or not? Because I'm tired of people wasting people's time. Life is too short to do something that's meaningless. Life is too short to be in some kind of romance, whatever it is, with somebody, to only know that it's going to stay here. It's never going to progress. Why are we doing that to each other? And I went through certain situations where I was convinced, like, man, some people really do just, like to keep things casual all the time, never commit, but that's just not the case. They just don't know how to love themselves. And maybe they are in their season of singleness, but for me, it blows my mind when people are in their season of singleness and they still allow people to come into their life fully knowing that they're not ready. So if anybody gets anything out of this episode, it's that it's never too late to take that season, work on yourself, love yourself so that you don't need anybody else, but you want somebody. And watch, you'll start to notice the most incredible individuals come into your life. People that you don't have to show them how to love you. They just know. They can read you. They're so in tune with you. And you get to the point where you're creating relationships that aren't just about sex. That aren't just about what you have to give them. That aren't just about entertainment or fulfilling that void of loneliness. You deserve more than that. And I'm talking to anybody who's going through that. You deserve more. So stop making excuses for as to why you should stay, or for as to why you're accepting love that is not worth your time, and take the time to truly invest in you. And I promise you, it will not do you wrong. It will not be a waste of time. And you'll see in the long run how much that affects you in the most positive way. Because one thing that I want is that when I have kids, when I have children, when I start a family, I want them to see such an amazing, genuine love between me and my husband, me and my partner, whoever it is that I end up with. I want them to see that love is real. It's hard. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's real. Because they will see that he loves me unconditionally and I love him unconditionally, but we are working every single day to grow even better. And if you're with somebody who refuses to grow, let's say you're with someone for 5 years and they're the same exact person you met 5 years ago, there is something not working. But are you willing to make the decision to choose yourself for what's in your life? Are you willing to get rid of all distractions that have kept you from where you're supposed to be? Because right now we're talking about relationships. But the idea of self-love and how you hold yourself dictates and determines everything in your life. Whether it's your job, your relationships, your career, your home, anything, your environment, it all affects everything. Because when you don't value yourself enough, you close your doors off to anything good in your life. Ultimately. Why do you think there's so many people in this world that are rich, so rich, have all of the money in the world they could ever ask for, and they're still not happy? Or you see somebody who looks on social media like they have the most perfect life, they have a wife, they have a husband, they have kids, they have this beautiful home, but they're still not happy. Everything comes down to self-love, every single thing. So yeah, you might need to take a couple years to yourself, but it'll be so worth it in the long run. 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, when you realize I took that little season of me to love myself, and now everybody in my inner circle respects me enough to know my worth, my value, and I refuse to let anybody else in to destroy that. But the big question is, do you think you're worth it? Do you? But that's the end of this episode. This is something that I'm so passionate about, and I think that every single person, no matter who you are, deserves a time to yourself. Because you're with you all the time. And if you don't love yourself, or you hate yourself, or you are so insecure about yourself, your life is going to look so miserable. Because you can't even stand being with you. And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody you find is going to fix you to the point that you could fix yourself. So stop expecting things from people. Things that I always say or two things that I always say. The two worst things that you can do is assume and expect. Do not assume that the person you're with is going to give you the entire world. And do not expect somebody to love you so much so that you don't need your self-love anymore. Because that will never happen. But one thing you should do is accept everything. The good and the bad, it's all going to come around. But what are you going to learn from it? And what are you going to get out of it? And how are you going to grow from it? I know it's scary. As humans, being alone is terrifying. And I'll be the first one to say that, because even when I was single, I was so afraid that I was going to end up, old and alone and not married, no kids, whatever the case. But sometimes being alone is so much better than being with someone that's not worth your time and that doesn't value you. And I'm so passionate about it because I spent the last 3 years living that way. The last 3 years understanding what I love, what I deserve, what I need to work on, what I am really good at, how I love other people, and how I love to be loved. And now I'm blessed enough to have people in my life that love me so much. And when I tell you, it's the most beautiful thing to finally get to the point where you're like, man, like, I didn't think this was ever gonna happen. I didn't think someone would actually love me this much, because for so long I was just used to being the one that was giving love. I was the one that was used to thinking, well, I mean, I'm just so much of a lover, like of course I'm gonna love them more. But that's not the case. I just finally decided that I love myself so much that I allow people into my life that also love me just as much. Not more, because I always want to be the person that loves myself the most. And I'm so grateful for where I'm at today, because I know that I'm able to teach people how to love themselves. And I know that I'm able to show people that it's possible to find something genuine and something real. I hope that somewhere throughout this video you found some clarity in what you need to do. So just listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, and just do it. But thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below anything that you got out of it, whether it was an aha moment or something that you knew and that you live by, or something that you are going to start to do. Just comment down below. And if you want to see the TikTok of all the comments that I have been going over, it'll be in the comments below. But I will see you guys in next week's video, and thank you so much for all the support. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you guys.